Hello everyone, Chase here, and before we get started with today's video, I wanted to apologize for the slow uploads. I've been pretty busy with some IRL stuff, so I haven't had much time to create content recently, and when I do, I don't have a lot of time to edit it. I do have some cool stuff planned for the near future, but for now, I hope you understand. Oh, and also, really quick, join my Discord server. Link is in the description. Alright, now let's talk about Reefslider. So you might have seen the title of this video and be sort of confused. How can I say that Nintendo gave up on Reefslider when they just altered it in the most recent patch? Well, when I say that they gave up, I'm not referring to a lack of change, I'm referring to the way that they're changing it. Don't get me wrong, I think the changes they made to Reefslider in the recent patch weren't bad. Nerfing its paint was a good idea because this special solely existing just as a way to cheese splat zones was honestly pretty stupid. It's supposed to be an aggressive special, not an objective cheeser. And luckily, Nintendo was smart and gave it a compensation buff by increasing its 70 damage radius. The radius often just seems really inconsistent, and some might argue that it's a bit too big now, but the point is, I'm glad they were smart enough to give it a compensation buff. Here's the issue though, these changes that were made sort of solidify what I've been fearing about Reefslider for a while now. The devs have given up on actually altering the special in a meaningful way. You see, from pretty much Splatoon 3's launch, people have been hoping that Nintendo would give Reefslider some sort of significant change. By significant, I mean some sort of notable rework or giving it some kind of extra ability. For example, letting the explosion destroy any bombs within its radius, like Splashdown. Or maybe let us slightly steer the Reefslider, or do tiny hops to get over small ledges. And perhaps the most common one I see is to let us use the special during a super jump, similar to Splashdown. However, with this recent patch and the changes that Reefslider got, it just kinda confirms what a lot of us already thought. Nintendo has no intention to really buff Reefslider in a healthy, impactful way. They're aware that the special is weak and flawed, but they don't care enough to give it any major buffs. Instead, they just keep giving it small, lazy radius changes, which, by the way, brings us to a whole nother issue with the balance patches in this game. Why is Nintendo's answer for almost any weak special in this game just to increase the radius? Reefslider is probably the biggest example since they've altered the size of both its paint and damage, but other specials like Inkback, Big Bubbler, Ultra Stamp, and Inkjet have all received similar changes. You can make a special better in other ways besides just buffing the size of it. Anyways, a little off topic there, but back to Reefslider. Again, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I am happy with the changes that Reefslider received, but at the same time, I can't help but feel like we could have had so much more. If it just got the right changes, it could have been an actual good, healthy special for the game. But with what we've gotten up to this point, it's just become a depressing panic button that's good at stealing splat zones. And now it gets away with some cheesy faraway kills because its radius is too big. So I do know that there's probably gonna be some people who will say, Chase, you never know, there's still gonna be more balance patches. They could give Reefslider some big changes in the future. Now, while I sincerely hope with all my heart that you people are right, I am extremely doubtful. Just mainly because of the fact that this game is about to be 2 years old. Reefslider has consistently been a bottom tier special from the very beginning, and we know that Nintendo has been aware of this because they do buff this special quite often. But they just keep giving it tiny radius buffs, which, as I mentioned earlier, really tells me that they have no plans of altering the mechanics of this special in the future. They want it to be weak. I don't know, there could be a valid reason for this. Maybe they're worried that the special would be too broken against the casual player base, so they purposely keep it on the weaker side. But then again, Triple Splashdown exists, and they just gave that special an activation speed buff, which Reefslider can only dream of getting. So yeah, all in all, I don't really understand Nintendo's logic with their stubbornness on altering Reefslider in a meaningful way. When other specials exist in this game that serve a similar role to Reefslider, but get much more meaningful buffs or attributes, you just gotta wonder, what did we do to deserve this?